Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to another video. This time I'm back with the 4th episode of my series, Let's Roll Up a Dungeon, where today I will be using the RPG OSRIC to roll up a dungeon. OSRIC stands for Old School Reference and Index Compilation. This was recommended by somebody in a previous video and I checked it out and I think it looks like a really great source for what I'm looking for mapping out a dungeon. It is free to get, and it looks like it's essentially a rework of just old school D&D, like I think first edition D&D or like advanced D&D, AD&D, stuff like that, where it's been basically reworked and redone, kind of in a sense, and that's what essentially it is. I haven't read through most of the RPG itself. I've only pretty much glanced at the mapping portion for the actual dungeon generation itself, which is what I have printed here, which is what I will be going over. But it looks like the book has a lot of other cool stuff in it, but I really just haven't explored it too much. And it is free to get, so I will make sure to link it in the description. But let's go ahead and I will talk about how the dungeon generation works in this source, and then we will hop to my dungeon outline, and then finally we'll get to rolling up a dungeon. All right, so in OSRIC, there are a good few pages worth of rules regarding random dungeon generation, which I have printed out and we'll start talking about now. So they have a little bit of an introduction here on how to use this, and they have a little kind of step-by-step thing where you roll to pick out a starting area, then you, if not, you can roll for the shape and size of the room, number of exits, location, of room exits, and then you can roll direction for chamber exits or passages or what lies beyond a door. You can roll for contents of the room, and then this just as extra rules for if it's not indicated the corridor continues 30 feet or whatever. So that's kind of the general outline of how it works with rolling up a dungeon with all of this. So you have this first table, which is essentially a D6 table for generating starting areas, which are kind of all pictured on the back here. So you have these kind of pretty interesting and unique looking little starting areas, because most of the other rooms and chambers will most likely be either square or rectangular. There are some unusual shapes that you can roll up, but majority of the time it's going to be like square and rectangular rooms. So it's kind of cool that they give pretty unique starting areas. So that's what the first table is a D6 to figure out what your starting area looks like. Then you have these two tables down here for rooms and chambers, which I don't know if I'm dumb, but I don't really know what the difference is between a room and a chamber. Besides, it looks like chambers are slightly bigger than rooms, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like a slight difference in like what the words mean. But like when it comes to building a dungeon and using this source, I don't really know if there's a huge difference between the two, but they have two different tables for rolling a d20 to see what the room size is, or you can roll a d20 to see what the chamber size is. So those are the next few tables onto the back of this page. Kind of already talked about up here are the different options for the starting areas. Then you have this table 3 for special rooms or chambers, where you can roll a d20 to see if you get a special chamber or room. Stuff like if you want a hexagonal or a circular or an oval shaped room. This table can give you those kinds of rooms. Below that, you have approximate size table for unusual rooms. So you can roll a d20 to get an approximate size of the square footage of the room. Then you have over here, table 5 is number of exits. So you roll a d20, and then based on, you kind of check to see, you know, if I roll a 5, if it's less than 500 square feet, there's 2 exits, or if it's more, then there's 3. So depending on what you roll, you kind of check on the kind of comparators, and then based on that, it will tell you how many exits are in the room. And then you have exit location here. So table 6, you just roll another d20. You'll get either if it's left of the left wall, opposite wall, right wall, or same wall compared to the entrance/exit of the room. So that's what that whole first page is. Next, moving on to table number 7, you have exit directions, mainly when it comes to chamber passages. So use this with passages. For doors, you consult another table that's called behind the door. But this one will just tell you whether a passage just goes straight, or it goes left 45 degrees or right 45 degrees. Generally, when I've been testing this out, I've just been choosing to make these 90-degree turns just to make it a little bit easier for mapping, though, I mean, as written, you're supposed to do 45, but I've been doing 90 and it seems fine. It's a little bit easier to draw with how I'm doing my grid. So there's all that. Then you have table 8 with chamber and room contents, which is pretty cool. So it gives generic, like kind of generic terms, whether it's just empty or if there's a monster or a trap or whatever, it kind of can tell you what could be in a room. And then you have a table for treasure containers. So if you find treasure, what it's in, stuff down here about treasure guards, more treasure table. So lots of treasure tables here. I'm not too worried about them since I have already have my outline prepared. So I kind of know what I'm already stocking the dungeon with, but that's there if you want it. You have this table over here with stairs. So it tells you how many levels the stairs goes down or up. Next you have the table 14, which is for a cave/cavern. It'll tell you kind of what the dimensions of a cave or a cavern is. So that's pretty interesting. You have the pools table. So you can see if there's no pool or if there's a pool or a pool and a monster. There's a table for that. You have a table for lakes. So you can see if there is a lake inside a room, which I think is pretty cool. You have a table for magical pools. You have a general table up here, which just is, this table is kind of what you use to see. Well, I guess, no, that's not. This is the beyond the door table. So I kind of forget. I think you use this at the end of a passage. Like when you don't know what a passage, this is the main table you use. You have a door location, which is also used for kind of passages. So if you're like, if you're going down a passage and then tells you there's a door, you use this to see if it's to the left, to the right, or just straight ahead. You also have a behind the door table. So whenever you have a door, you can roll on this to see what's behind the door. You have a little table here, D20 table regarding side passages and kind of what they do. Then you have a table up here for passage widths, which is pretty handy to have. You have another table here for special passage widths. So if you have a special type of passage, I guess you roll on that table for that. And then finally, you have a table over here for turns. So whenever a passage turns, I believe that's the table you reference, and you'll go to that. And that's pretty much it. There's some extra little text here just describing how to use it when it comes to solo play and whatnot. And next part just goes on to random encounters, which I'm not really too worried about. So that's pretty much all there is as far as generating the dungeon. And so I'll be doing a lot of hopping around between these tables, and it kind of directs you to. So, if you roll on this table for, you can't even see where I'm pointing, this table for exit directions, you can see at the bottom here, if it's like, since this is a passage, you're going to proceed to table 22 to see the passage width. And once you go to table 22, which I've lost now, you can, you roll up on that. And then at the bottom, it says you go to table 18 to actually see where the passage leads. So it's kind of nice. It directs you and it tells you where to go, but there's kind of a lot of hopping around the different tables. And the one thing I did notice that was lacking from this, and maybe I'm just stupid and I'm missing it somewhere, but I looked pretty thoroughly through these tables and whatnot, and there is the area that tells you how many exits you have, but nowhere is there a table to roll what type of exits there are, because it seems like there's two main types of exits. You either have doors or passages, and as far as I can tell, there's no table to roll on or any way to kind of distinguish whether what the exit, if it's just a door or if it's an actual passage leaving the room. So what I've been doing is just rolling a d20 and doing like 1 through 10 is passage, and then above 10 is a door. So if there is a way that there is in here like listed that I'm supposed to do it, let me know, but I didn't see any way, and that's kind of how I've been treating exits as far as whether they're doors or passages, which is kind of leaving it up to a 50-50 chance and seeing what the dice say. But that's pretty much it as far as the actual source material goes. So I will real quick hop over to the outline I have prepared and we'll talk about that. All right, so here's the outline I have prepared for today's dungeon, which is going to be titled the Gloomwood Bastion. This is going to be a medium-sized dungeon, so approximately 10 rooms, give or take. Then for the type, it's going to be a type of a sanctuary and a temple. Then as far as some detail tags, it's going to be mainly forest, because it's like a forest temple type sanctuary. and then arcane, because there's going to be a lot of magic and whatnot in this temple. So for the purpose, Gloomwood Bastion was originally designed as a sanctuary for nature, acting as a stronghold for druids and other nature guardians. And for the history, hundreds of years ago, Gloomwood Bastion was constructed by a powerful druid named Alara Moonshadow. Her goal was to create a nexus of natural power by drawing upon the ancient trees and the springs of Gloomwood. Over time, as Alara sought out more power to protect the sanctuary, she became slowly corrupted, and in turn, the Bastion became tainted, evolving into a dark place of twisted magic, which is what it is today. As far as the factions that you'll find here, I have the Twisted Guardians, which are the original protectors of the sanctuary, and these rangers and druids have now become part of its curse, acting as hostile guardians. Next, you have the Shadow Sprites, which are like fey creatures that were attracted to the sanctuary's dark magic. And then finally, you have Nature's Resurgence, which is a group of druids and creatures that are seeking to cleanse the sanctuary and restore it to its original purpose. As far as some enemies and creatures you can find, you might find the Thorned Wraiths, which are spirits ensnared in the thorned maze, now seeking to entrap others. You have the Nightshade Beasts, which are corrupted and unnaturally aggressive woodland creatures, such as bears and wolves, that now have dark fur and glowing eyes. You have the Moss Golems, which were formed from moss and stones of the Bastion's walls. These creatures defend the sanctuary's cursed halls from intruders, silently moving and melding with their surroundings. And then finally, you have Alara Moonshadow. She's kind of the final boss of this dungeon. Alara exists in a state between life and death as a guardian spirit tainted by her own goals. As far as some quest hooks, first quest I have, first quest is called A Desperate Plea, and it reads, a spirit, once a protector of Gloomwood Bastion, appears in a nearby village, pleading with the locals to free it and its comrades. Next quest is called The Resurgence Pact. Nature's Resurgence has discovered a ritual to cleanse the Bastion, but needs adventurers to retrieve mystical components from within its dark recesses. And then finally, you have Alara's Heir, which reads, a descendant of Alara Moonshadow seeks to redeem their ancestors' legacy, recruiting adventurers to find a way to free Alara's spirit from the curse binding it to the Bastion. As far as the condition and lighting, I figured it's going to be pretty warped since it's, you know, the dark magic has probably messed with it, and plus it's in like a forest, so it's going to be a lot pretty natural. You're going to have a lot of effects of weather probably. It's going to be pretty overgrown since there's going to be a lot of plants and whatnot, and mostly no lights, which I figure there might be a little bit of light from like a cool bioluminescent plant, but majority there's not going to be any light. As far as some sounds you might hear some whispers of just creatures in the dungeon, you know, spirits, stuff like that. And you also will probably hear a decent amount of like creaking wood since you're in a forest, and this temple sanctuary, I figure is gonna be, you know, a lot of wood in it. So you're probably hearing some creaking wood. And then as far as smells, well, you'll be smelling some rotten wood, mildew, mold, all that good stuff that you want to be smelling in a dungeon. And then finally, as for the temperature, it's probably gonna be inconsistent, but mostly on the chill side. Since you're in a forest, it's probably been under the shade, and you're inside, it's probably pretty like damp and just chill for the most part. All right, as for the rooms, first one I have is Mossy Atrium, which was once a place of meditation. This grand hall now overflows with moss and vines. Next, you have the Thorned Maze, a labyrinth of thorny bushes and undergrowth. Its paths are always changing. Those who get lost might find themselves ensnared by the very plants they navigate through. You have the Spectral Arboretum, which is a greenhouse where translucent ghostly plants grow. Some of these are benign, but others lash out at those who draw near. Next, you have the Pool of Reflections, which is a magical pond that once showed visions of loved ones or past memories, but now it reflects twisted, nightmarish versions of those who gaze upon it. You have the Cursed Menagerie, which is a chamber where creatures transformed and corrupted by the dark magic of the Bastion are held. These creatures vary from twisted deer with fangs to shadowy owls with eyes that seize one's soul. Next, you have the Abyssal Well, which is a bottomless pit filled with swirling dark energy. Whispers from the abyss promise power in exchange for sacrifices thrown into its depths. Next, you have the Spectral Library, which is home to ancient, ghostly tomes that float through the air. Some of the books whisper secrets, while others shriek curses at those who dare to read them. Next, you have the Hollow Tree, which is an ancient tree at the heart of the Bastion. Its inside is hollowed out and filled with the essence of dark magic that now corrupt the place. This is the epicenter of the Bastion's power. Next, you have Moonshadow's Study, which is Alara's personal chamber filled with old tomes, alchemical ingredients, and relics. And finally, you have Moonshadow's Lair, which is deep beneath the Bastion. It's the final resting place of Alara Moonshadow, and she remains there as a guardian spirit, waiting to protect the heart of her creation or be freed from her own curse. So, with that all out of the way, let's roll up a dungeon. All right, so first things first, got to roll a d6 here to figure out which starting area we get, and I rolled a 1, so that is this Y-looking starting area. So let me go ahead and attempt to draw that real fast. All right, so there is the starting area all drawn out. Let's go ahead and see what's beyond this door on the left here. So we roll up a d20, and that's a 20. So that is going to be a chamber, I guess. Okay, not a room, but a chamber. So I guess that's where it differs, is on this table. So then I go back to table number 2 to B, I guess specifically, because that's the chamber table. And I roll up another d20, and that is a 17. Oh boy, so 40 feet by 60 feet. Okay, let me draw this up. All right, so there's this big old chamber that's rolled up there. So now we got to see number of exits. So D20 roll, and we get a 10. So this is definitely larger than 1,000 square feet. So there's just one exit. So let's see where this exit is. A 17. It's on the same wall as this. And then I guess the other thing is I'm gonna roll my D20 to see if it's a door or a passage. Like I've been doing, if it's 10 or less, it's a passage, or if it's more than 10, it's a door. And that is going to be a passage. Okay, I guess I could then roll to see what the passage width is gonna be. That's 6, so a 6 is a 10-foot width passage going that way. Okay, well maybe we'll make it kind of right at the end here, so then it can connect to whatever is going on down here, I guess. I don't know. And that's the other thing, is this sometimes doesn't specify, like, okay, if the exit is a passage, like how long is the passage? Which I've been doing 10 feet by default, but we're gonna see if that's that might cause some issues here. So then let's go ahead and see what's behind this door. I feel like I'm gonna mess up what I've already done, but let's see what it at least says it is. So that's going to be a 6. Which a 6 is just as a straight passage. Okay. And normally for these passages, you just go 30 feet and then I think you roll again is how that works. Okay, so it looks a little something like that maybe. I don't know, seems good enough to me. So then for this passage, I will roll on the general table, I believe is the one I'm supposed to do, and see what happens with this passage. So that is a 14. A 14 says a side passage. So I need to roll on the side passage table, which is right there, table 21. I rolled that again, and that's a 14. So it's a T intersection is what happens here. Interesting, okay. So I guess this ends in a T intersection that splits off, and then I'll just have it split 10 feet going each way, and then we'll continue on from there. All right, so now we got this T intersection, which I just kind of rotated around. So let's see what's to the left here, because we're gonna hit the bottom of the map here. And that is a 20, just like a wandering monster. So, I mean, I'm just gonna re-roll for that because that doesn't really work for what we're doing. And that's 8, so that is a door. So then we need to see the door location, which is 6. So there is a door to the left. And I think we just keep going straight. Oh, interesting. So I'm also supposed to roll a d20 again on a left or right to see if there's a door on the opposite side. And on a result of 1 through 3, there is, but that was a 16. So, okay. So this is gonna, I guess, keep going. We'll just say 10 feet because it doesn't really specify. But I do want it to extend a little bit past the door, and then I'm gonna roll on that general table again to see what's going on with this. And it said there's another door. Oh boy. So we roll the door location again, and that is a 10. So this time there is a door also on the right. Well, did I do this? Was it left last time? I don't remember now. I might have put this door on the wrong side, but if this one's on the right, we'll also put it up here because that's where it's actually supposed to go. Okay, I'm gonna leave this for now. I might just close it off. I might make it like a secret exit. I wanna figure out what's in these two doors and then kind of continue, kind of loop back to where we were. So I'm gonna do a beyond the door roll for this door, and that is a 15, which is a room. So let me go ahead and roll on the 2A rooms table, which is a 14 total. So that is going to be a 20-foot by 40-foot room. All right, so there's that room rolled up. Let me go ahead and roll on the number of exits table. That is a 6, and this room, what did I say? 40 by, no, this is 20 by 40, which is, I gotta do math now, but I need to make sure. Okay, so it's gonna have 3 exits because I have to see if it's more or less than 500 square feet. So 3 exits. Let me see where each of the exits are. This first one is going to be opposite wall, and we'll go ahead and see if it's a door. It is a door on the opposite wall, and since there's 4, we'll go ahead and roll a d4 to see where it is on the 2 spot. All right, next up, I'll do another, see where the other exits are. So this is to the left wall, and this is also a door. So then let me roll let me find my T8 here to see where it is. 7. And finally, one more roll to see where the last exit is. That's a 9, and a 9 is on also the opposite wall. See if this is a door. It's also a door. So then let's roll a d4 to see where the door is, and that's a 2. Well, there's already a door there. That's a 4. Okay. Okay, that's kind of an interesting room. I'm going to go ahead and see what's behind this door before we kind of continue on. So we rolled that and see what I get. That is a 4, and a 4 behind the door is just a straight passage. And so since I'm doing a passage, I need to see the passage width. So 16. Boy, oh boy. So it's a 20-foot wide passage. Okay. It doesn't say how long it is again, so I'm just going to do, since it's 20 foot wide, maybe I'll do like 30 feet. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up at this point, but that's one thing that's also that's not really in this, this source, this RPG, is like a lot of the passage lengths seems to be missing. So I have to kind of just make that up unless it's noted somewhere in one of these tables, but I don't see it anywhere. So we'll just say, yeah, since it's 20 feet, I want to make it at least 30 foot long. So we'll do that. Okay, and I guess I'll roll a d20 to see where this passage goes. That's a 9, and a 9 is a door roll. So let's see. Be awkward if it's straight ahead because it's just a massive door. No, a door to the left. Okay. Well, then that probably is just going to go into that room. And I guess we can kind of continue this on at least another. I'm going to go 10 feet more and then do another roll. Okay, so let's see where this passage is going. This really thick passage is 8. That's another door roll, and that is going to be a 9 total. So it's a door on the right this time. So I'll put a door there and then continue ahead another 10 feet. So let's roll to see this passage goes, and that's a 16. So that's going to be turned. So I got to consult table 24 and see where it turns to, and that's a 3. So it goes left 90 degrees. Interesting. All right, so I guess that's where we're at. I'm gonna keep rolling to see where this corridor goes, but I might have to like come back to it or something. 16, that's another turn. So let's see which way it's turning this time. That's a 1, so it's going left again. So I think it's just going, it looks like it's more or less gonna loop back into here. Yeah, because if I continue 10 feet, that's gonna be pretty much there. And then where is this door going? Well, let me draw this in, because it's kind of weird. Okay, so this is kind of what we've got going on. This really large passage kind of like loops around and comes back to here. We'll make this door definitely go through here as, I don't know, maybe like a secret exit or something. So maybe I'll have to draw a door here. Maybe I'll move this door here so we have like the same number of exits. Okay, I'm gonna leave that door alone. And you know what? Let's kind of mosey on back to my starting area, and I kind of want to figure out some more stuff here, going with these doors first, and then maybe I'll worry about that branching area later. So let's see what's behind this door right there. That is a 15. 15 is going to be a room. So let me roll on the room size table, and that is a 12. So that's going to be a 20 feet by 30 foot room. Okay, let me see number of exits in this room. That is a 6. So I'm gonna flip back over here. A 6, and this is 20 foot by 30 foot. So there's going to be 3 exits, really. Okay, let's start rolling up all these exits. So we got 2, so it's gonna be on the left wall, and it's going to be a corridor. Okay. So that's probably just going to connect right through. Maybe I'll roll in corridor width, or the passage width. So it's going to be a 5 foot passage going to the left. And I guess I can roll a d4 to see where it is. Okay. All right, there's the corridor. Next exit is a 3. So it's going to be, I totally lost. It's also on the left wall. I'm probably just going to re-roll just because I don't want that. That's a 3 again. If it rolls a 3 again, I'm going to freak out. 7. There we go. That's a little bit different, right? Opposite wall. So over here, what type of exit is it? It's a passage. Let's get passage width, and that is a 13. So it's gonna be 10 foot. So then I guess let me roll, I don't know, a D8. So 10 foot passage on the opposite wall, kind of right in the middle. And there's one more exit in this room. So let's see where it's gonna be located. 5. I think that's also gonna say it's opposite wall. You know, we'll just say it's on the right wall, just so there's an exit on every wall. I'm making that decision. So let's see if it's a door though. It is a door. And then finally, I guess I'll roll a d4 to see where the door is. And that's a 2. All right, so let's see what's to the left of the starting area, because I'm kind of curious and want to get the starting area at least fleshed out before I go down a lot of these corridors and different exits and whatnot. So a 14 on the door roll, a 14 is going to be a room. So let me go ahead and roll on the room size table, and that is going to be a 10, which means it's going to be 40 feet by 40 feet. All right, it's a big old room. Let's see how many exits there are, and that is a 9. A 9 means it's definitely bigger than 500 square feet. So 4 exits. Okay, that's a lot of exits. Start rolling them up. So first one we have is 19. So it's going to be on the same wall. So we'll see what type of exit it is. It's going to be a door on the same wall. I think I can roll what, a D8, because it's 40 feet. So it's going to be at 5. Okay, so just have a random little exit there. Then let me see. So I'm rolling 4 of these, right? So the next one is going to be on the opposite wall for the exit type. It's going to be a passage for the passage width. It's going to be 10. So that's 10 feet. Over here, and I'll roll a d8 to kind of get a location for it. 6. Okay, so 2 more exits. So let's see where this one is located. 5, that is going to be on the left wall. So that's like this, or no, that's gonna be opposite wall again. Then the type is gonna be another passage. Passage width is gonna be 20 foot passage. That's kind of not great, because there's not gonna be a whole lot of room here. I guess I can do that. I'll still roll a d8 to see where it is, but I think it's gonna have to be towards the, yeah, that's not gonna work. I don't even know why I'm rolling that d8, because it's not really gonna work if I put it really anywhere besides this 1, 2, 3, like this bottom area. Okay, I guess I'll put it there. I think I still have to roll up one more exit for this room. So this last one is located on the same wall as the entrance, and it is gonna be a door. Another door on the same wall. So let's see real fast where it is. 7. So it's going to be, that's where the current door is. So I can't really do that. 1. Okay. Okay. Well, I got a lot of different areas to kind of work from at this point. I kind of want to hop back to this room because there's not too much going on here, and see what's going on with this passage that's kind of going up out of here. So I'll roll on that general table. That's going to be a wandering monster. So we roll, but actually, you know, in my dice tray this time. And that is a 9. So a 9 is a door. Roll again to see where the door location is. And it's going to be a door to the right. Okay. Okay, let's continue this passage a little bit more. And that is a 16. So there's going to be a turn in the table. Or it's going to be a turn in the corridor. So I have to look at the turntable. And that's a 2, so that means it's going left 90 degrees. Okay, well, I kind of just connected it back up to this big room here, and I think we'll call that good there. So I'm gonna rotate this a little bit, and let's see actually what's going on with this door here first. So let me roll D20 on beyond the door, and that is a 1, so it's a side door parallel passage, door straight ahead, 10 feet, 10 feet room. I don't quite know how that works, so I might just re-roll. I don't know what a side door parallel passage is. An 18, that's a room roll, so I know how to do that. So we'll roll up another room, and I need some more rooms anyway. So I'd rather get a room than a passage. 17 on the room size gives me a 30 feet by 40 foot room. All right, so that room is all drawn out. Let's see how many exits it has. So there's a 2, and this was what yeah, this is gonna have 2 exits. Okay, so let's roll these up real fast. Exit location 17 on the same wall, and then type it's a door. So then I'll roll, what is that, a D6 to see where the door is. 2, that's okay. Let's take over here. So then 1 more exit, right? So this one's going to be the opposite wall, and the door, or the exit type, it's going to be a door. So then I will also roll again a D6 to see where it is. Okay, so we have this door going somewhere. I'm going to continue these 2 like passages here because that area is kind of, I don't know what's going on there. So let's kind of see what's happening. I also need to start wrapping this dungeon up. That is a 15 total. So on the general page, that's stairs. I'm keeping this kind of 1 level. I don't want to worry about stairs. Maybe I'll do that for some other dungeon. I'll have like a bunch of different levels, but for now, I'll just re-roll, which is a 1. So it's going to be a chamber. So I got to do a chamber roll. That is a 12. So that means chamber table, a 12 is a 20 feet by 40 foot room. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'll do this for the room, or for the chamber, as just have it, because it's 20 foot by 40 feet. So I can kind of just rotate it sideways and have it connect up with both of those corridors. Kind of seems weird just having this like empty space there, but I mean, it all works out. So then this is its own separate room. So let me go ahead and see what the exit situation is. And that's a 4. So it looks like there's only 1 exit, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and just roll up the 1 exit, which I don't need too many more exits. That's gonna be on the same wall. I don't think that's gonna work. I'll say this is for the left wall instead. And then what type of, it's a door on the left wall. So then I'll roll a D4, and that's a 2. So I'm gonna hop back to this passage over here and see what's going on there. So we roll on the general table. A 7 is a door. So I see where the door is. That is to the right. Okay. So then continuing this passage, that is a 12, and a 12 is a side passage. So I guess I'll roll on the side passage table. That's a 2, so it goes left 90 degrees. All right, well, I'm gonna continue up, and I might just connect that around like this to over there. That's a 4, so it continues straight. Check this table again in 50 feet. Oh my God. All right, so the passage goes a long way straight, and then it goes to 16, which it turns. So I gotta consult the turntable. That's 8, so it goes left 90 degrees. And doing another roll, that's 7. So it's another door. As far as where it is, it's 15, so it's straight ahead. Awesome. So let's see what's beyond that door. The beyond the door roll. 17 gives us a room. Perfect. Let's see what kind of room it is, or how big it is, I guess. So a 16 is going to be 30 feet by 40 foot. All right, let's see this. How many exits there are in this room? So a 9. There's going to be 4 exits. Jeez. Okay, I guess I need to start wrapping up this dungeon here soon. So I'm probably just going to roll up like 2, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what this gives me, because I just need pretty much, I just want to have 1 room connected to this, and I think that'll be good. So this gave us opposite wall. Let's see if it's a door. It is a door. And then I guess I can roll, I don't know, like a D8 to see where the door is. That's 7. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that 1 exit, and that's it. And I'm going to cheat a little bit And I'm going to say that there's going to be a chamber on the other side of this door. So let's roll up a chamber size, and we'll get a 14. So that's going to be 20 feet by 40 foot. Okay, I think that area is kind of done. I'm gonna go back down to here. I'm gonna connect that up to there. All right, so that's taken care of. I guess this, I could just make a dead end. Maybe leave that door as like a secondary entrance. This door, I guess we can go ahead and connect it back to this room. Cool, cool. What else do we have to deal with? So we got a bunch of doors down here, so I could probably connect that up around there. That to there. That seems kind of useless though, so maybe I'll get rid of both of those doors, connect that up, and get rid of one of these doors. Okay, so yeah, I made a passage around there. I got rid of one of those doors, got rid of that door. And I think with that, this dungeon's looking pretty well done. Got about 10 rooms. So let's do a room check. We got this is like this is technically 2 rooms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rooms. So let's go ahead and label them. All right, so I think this will be room number 1, which is the mossy atrium. As for the thorned maze, I feel like that's pretty appropriate for this kind of curved long room. As for the spectral arboretum, we'll maybe just put that over here by the thorned maze. That feels pretty appropriate. What else? Pool of reflections is probably not a huge room, so we'll maybe put that like right there. The cursed menagerie is probably gonna be pretty big, so maybe we'll make that like this area. The abyssal well, number 6, also probably not gonna be super big. Maybe we'll put that over here by the pool of reflections. Then we have the spectral library, which is probably gonna be, maybe we'll make it like this room in here. We'll make that, how about, yeah, we'll make that part the spectral library, and then over here, this like back area will be more of Moonshadow's study. So we'll make that area 9, and then going up here, this central area, I think will be area 8, which is the hollow tree. And then finally, this back corner area will be area 10, which is Moonshadow's lair. I think this dungeon is looking pretty well done. So let's do a quick final walkthrough of the dungeon. So you start out here, entering into the mossy atrium, which is once a place of meditation, is now the grand hall, overflows with moss and vines. If you go to the right, you'll be taken into the spectral library, home to ancient ghostly tomes that float through the air. In the back part of the library, you have Moonshadow's study, which is her personal chamber filled with old tomes and whatnot. There's a little passage up here to area 6, which is the abyssal well, a bottomless pit filled with swirling dark energy. Next to that, you have the pool of reflections, which is a magical pond that shows now nightmarish versions of whoever gaze upon it. That connects around to area 5, which is this cursed menagerie, which is just an area with a bunch of weird and dark creatures. You can kind of go off to the left hand over here. This area down here, area number 3, is the spectral arboretum, which is like a greenhouse with a bunch of cool plants and whatnot. And then right next to that, pretty appropriately, is the thorned maze, which is like this big curved room / passage area. And then you have this long passage going way into the back here with area number 8, which is the hollow tree, main source of the Bastion's power. And then right behind that is Moonshadow's lair, which is where Alara is and where she is chilling and guarding the place. And with that, I think that is going to do it for Gloomwood Bastion. All right, so before I wrap up here today, I'll quickly tease out what's coming on next week's video of Let's Roll Up a Dungeon. The source I will be using is this RPG called Old Skull Dungeon Generator that generates some pretty cool looking dungeons. And for next week's dungeon, I'm going to be creating the Shattered Sewers, which is intending to be what it kind of sounds like. It's a sewer system kind of underneath a city. I kind of wanted to do a more urban dungeon, so I figured, sprawling sewers with, areas for rats and weird creatures and criminal hideouts and all this other stuff that you might find in a fantasy large underground sewer type area. That's what we'll be creating next week. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. And until next time, I'll see you.